So everyone, this is where it gets interesting for you. These are the sessions which I do for my students at Lincoln. I sort of share the behind the scenes of my LinkedIn, and as you can see from today's webinar, it's all about how to promote your business. And to be honest with you, the thing that's really sort of stood out for me as why people get in touch with me to do webinars, to do talks, if we're looking for products, anything like that, is not the business itself, it's you as an individual. And this is where I'll take you through a few things that you can see on my screen here as to why do people get in touch with me and how do I make my LinkedIn account stand out as much as possible on there. And before we get kicked off, and feel free to use that Q&A as much as possible, I will be coming and answering as many questions as we can. We'll have a sort of mini break, I think, as we go through, as I know what time it is if you're tuning it live. But really, the first thing just to highlight for you is that LinkedIn is a fantastic resource for professionals. You can get in touch with literally nearly everyone. I tried to get in touch with Richard Branson a couple of times on there. Tim Ferriss, his book, The 4-Hour Work Week, says that every week you should be reaching out to 3 people to expand your network. And one of the ways to actually do that is to post content on LinkedIn, post an update, post anything. And as you can see on my screen, less than 1%, or only about 1%, of all of LinkedIn's users actually post content. So in other words, a way to actually drive people to look at your profile is to post content, but less than 1% of people actually post. And again, feel free to utilize the Q&A, let me know on there. But I'm going to guess, because the majority of people who join my sort of sessions on LinkedIn rarely post, or they posted a very, very, very long time ago on there. So what I thought we'd do is we'll break it down into a few little sections today. Number one, as to how can we make your profile look more appealing, look better on there, and we can do this literally straight away now. I'll take you through sort of getting a better profile picture. You'll see the banner at the back there as well. You can tailor this to your business. And then I'll show you the behind the scenes as to looking at my account, the profile views, the impressions that I get, and looking at some of the posts, and when I try to keep as active as possible on here. So what am I actually posting and why am I doing it? Now, first of all, if you're like me as well, maybe get a pen and paper. Feel free to, well, you're more than welcome to add me on LinkedIn. We are literally live right now, so it will actually come through if you find me. I am an ACCA member in disguise at a SEMA event on here. But here we go. First things first, is that background banner on there. Now, if we were face-to-face, or if we had an open chat, I would put out there as to who actually has one so far. If you haven't, or you're thinking to yourself, mine doesn't quite say what James's does as to PQ award winner. It says he makes accounting made simple. It's got an idea as to, if I click on his profile, he's obviously into accounting and making it easy to digest on there for it. And literally you look at it and go, oh, okay, looks reasonably professional. It doesn't look over the top or anything like that. And it's completely free. So one of the first resources for you to have a look at is what is known as canva.com. You can see on the screen. This is what I use for my YouTube thumbnails, make a few little posts on here. So I know you'll all be frantically going to Google now or Bing and putting in canva.com. And we'll just walk and talk it through as to what you need to be looking for. And as you would imagine, if you put in LinkedIn on the actual search bar on there, it's going to come down with a few different options. And you can see that I've been searching banners and other things about the environment. But what you want is simply that one down there, the article cover image. So that is that sort of background area that you saw on the back of my LinkedIn account. And if we were to click on there, it takes you through to all these sort of LinkedIn article cover images and templates. So lots of people will have this. They will just have grey on theirs. And what we're looking at is that James Wright ACCA Accounting Made Simple. Most people who won't have uploaded one have on there. And all of these on here are completely free. Most of them are on here. It's only the ones with the little crown for Pro, where if you buy Canva's annual membership on there, I think it's about £99.99. That is where you can actually just get a few more for it. But again, you just need to have a little play around with the different sort of themes and filters. And again, you've got different areas as to if you want to go corporate, colourful, bold, all the rest of it. Maybe if you've got a particular business, if you're into marketing, or maybe you're a financial accountant at a firm, whatever it may be. Let's say, for example, I was going to take, let's pop up here. This one says digital marketing. Okay, we'll just click on the one at the top, okay, because it's got a photo on it. So you can see on here, you just pop into it, and you've got a few different ones on here as to you can actually customize it. You can put, if you want to, this is where you've got to decide how much visibility you want. You can put your mobile number on it. You can put your phone number on it. Any other things on there, and you go onto the filter on the side, so it pings it up on here, and literally you could just take it out. You put James Wright on there, and you don't have to be a rocket scientist to actually do it. But the key thing for this is that when someone made, let's make sure we get it typed down right, counting made simple, you can annotate it on there. And obviously, oh, well, yeah, hopefully I might look like that in the future. We'll see on there. But what is the case of, when this is the key bit for you to decide what you have as your banner on there, is when someone logs on to your LinkedIn account, because they're going to be driven there by a post that you've put on, or something you're tagged in, they've got to know automatically what you do or how can you help them on there is a really key thing. So that there is one of the best free resources, and you can actually, if you see on the search bar up at the top here, so you might be, let's call it maybe you're a florist. So if you go onto florist, lo and behold, granted, these two on here are pros, so you would actually have to pay for it on there. But maybe if you just put in, say, business on there, and you've got a fair few more, and different ones, black and white, lots of colour, different ones for you to go about. But I think something a bit sort of, we'll replace the current page, something a bit sharp like that. Can you see how that is automatically going to elevate your LinkedIn account and showcase your business or your expertise or where you work for someone who is going to log onto it? So automatically you are way ahead. The majority of people haven't even got a sort of background cover article like that. It makes a world of difference. And to be honest with you, any LinkedIn account that I go on and I see someone who's actually put in the time and the effort and it stands out, I'm more likely to actually engage with them, because I go, oh yeah, okay, they've really put some time and thought into this. I'm getting to know Karina on here a bit more, that she's a creative designer. But have a little go for it yourself. Either just pop it down on a note as a sort of call to action, whatever you want to call it, as to going away from today's session, these things are definitely going to help you on there. So again, if we were in face-to-face mode here, we would have a little panto moment, everyone. Gosh, arc back to being in sort of year 4 at primary school, where I would say, oh, the actual cover is pretty important, but what is the most important area of your profile? And that is, I put the microphone to you and you would say, my photo, James. So this is where, granted, I've got shorter hair in my photo. I probably look a lot younger on there as well. I know time takes its toll on all of us. But the thing is here, that photo stands out. I'll get an updated one with my long hair on there. I'm going to show you another photo in a second, so I'm braced, I'm prepared for it. It stands out, and you can see how it's got the background of like the little light blue as well, and it looks reasonably professional. But if I was to tell you that was taken in my lounge with my cat chewing on my foot down there as well, you'd go, hang on a second, how have you taken a photo that anyone can do on their phone, just with a bit of natural light coming in on you, and made it look reasonably professional, that when someone clicks on your profile, they go, ah, hang on a second, that looks really professional on there. They've really taken time. And you don't, sorry for any digital marketing people or photographers out there, but you don't need anything too major. And I'll show you the next free resource. So if you want to take a photo of the screen, screenshot it or write it down. The website I use and recommend to students to help, and professionals for that matter, for anyone who wants me to come into their school or business to talk about LinkedIn and showcase the things that help me, is this is remove.bg on there. Again, completely free. You just take an image that you're happy with, and like an episode of Ready Steady Cook, here's one I prepared earlier on here. So this is my AI photo, everyone. And you can see on here a few little screenshots. This is an AI photo that I'm quite a big AI advocate on here. Look, it's even trying to work it out as well. So that is me as AI. Don't laugh, don't laugh. I know. It's the Boris Johnson hair that does it for me. But as you can see, it's removed the background of, it was just sort of library in the background on there. And what you can do is then you can add on there loads of different other backgrounds. I just went, you know what, just keep it simple. Go for a color that I'm quite a big, fan of. Obviously, being a Leicester City fan, blue was my color on there, with a bit of sort of like blurring that you can sort of jink it out as well. Depends what you want to do. So that was the original background. And then obviously we can take it and put it on the color. So it depends what you want to go for. You want to go for red or blue, anything on those lines. But what it means is it just makes you look more professional. And when you look at someone's profile on LinkedIn, and I know this isn't a sort of comparison or anything like that, you can see some of my colleagues there on the right hand side. Some people are smiling, some people have got some nice photos on there. It's completely up to you how confident you feel about it. But sadly, lots of people make judgments on LinkedIn based on your profile picture for one, and then we'll come on to some of the other details as well from there. So profile picture, you can go away now, take a good one of yourself, get it uploaded, and then that will make a massive difference to your profile. You've now got the banner all sorted on there as well. So that's two things that are going to help you stand out. And this is where my sidekick Emma is going to come to my rescue on here now, as to there is a free resource hidden in the depths of LinkedIn, which when I went to my first ever talk by a chap called Chris, who came into the university, gave a half an hour chat, and he said, I can't believe LinkedIn have this, but don't promote it. Well, I'm going to share it with you now. So Emma's going to post it in the chat, and it's completely free. It's not going to go into any of your privacy or anything like that on there. And this is what is called the LinkedIn Social Selling Index on there. And all it's going to tell you when you get your score, so all you need to do is click the link that Emma's going to share with you in the chat on there, and all you need to do is click get your score, and that's going to give you a score out of 0 to 100 how LinkedIn ranks you in terms of your activity, what you do on the platform, how you engage with your audience on there, all these sort of things. And the interesting thing for you will be the industry that you're in, the area that your business operates, all these sort of things is going to make a massive difference. We're going to come on to the Q&A at the end. We're going to have an open chat and chit chat on there. So this is your line in the sand as to when we first met on a webinar, and who knows, you might see me at Accountex, or there's the Festival of Accounting and Bookkeeping coming up, or who knows, if you're in Lincoln, or if you might see me around, you go, James, my score, pathetic on there. So you can see on mine, my area that I only post about on LinkedIn is accountancy, what I teach at university. So accountancy, university, finance, and students on there. And I try to develop my professional brand and build relationships, collaborations, tagging in people, all these sort of things, which is really great. And so you can see Establishing your professional brand was really, really high. Building relationships, really, really high. I'm not involved in any of the recruiting within my businesses. I just do everything myself. So I'd expect finding the right people to be a bit low on there. Engaging with insights, that's where I'm commenting on other people's posts as well, which again, I classify myself as a producer rather than a consumer sort of thing. So when we come on to it later, you will see sort of how I do that with posts online, what I post about as well. And this is where they sort of break it down as to people in your network, people in your industry, so you can compare to your network. If you're feeling brave, feel free to post in the Q&A or in the chat on the site what your number is for some accountability on there. If I'd have really planned for this webinar, I could have posted a couple of times the week before, and it would have put my score up a bit. But nevertheless, happy with 61 and always room for improvements on there. But it's one of those things that I always tend to say whenever I'm having like a review of my LinkedIn, which I'll give you some advice on later. It's one of the areas, the social selling index. I go, let's have a look at it. It's got to be over 50 minimum, I would say. Otherwise, I'm not actually putting in enough time, I would say, to the platform because of the benefits it can hold for you on there. So that's the social selling index. Okay, so we've talked about profile pictures, we've talked about the banner, we've talked about getting you a measurement to say this is where we're at, this is where we're going. Now it's all about posting on LinkedIn about your business on there or about yourself. I tend to find lots of people like to get to know me and what I do and who I help, and then they get in touch and go, James is really proactive. He won't let us down. I can trust him to turn up. Like Emma knows from tonight, I'm here 10 past 5, quarter past 5. We have another chit chat. We go through everything. She knows she can trust me. I'm not going to say anything too mad on there, but it means that we're all good to rock and roll. We have a great session. And then going forward, we can work on other collaborations because I've even asked her, can you take a couple of screenshots? I want to post about it on LinkedIn and to say how great the SEMA team were in organising and helping it. So this is where you can't see this on any regular person's profile, but I don't mind sharing mine. I share it with all my students so that you guys get to see the pieces on here. So one thing that you can do is, first of all, actually post online. There'll be lots of people here today who have maybe never posted on LinkedIn, or have maybe posted once ages ago. You're at a LinkedIn session right now saying how to improve your profile, how to encourage your business. Again, you've probably got me on a camera, but feel free to take a screenshot of it now, and then you can post it online later through the techniques that I'm going to show you. I'll get a smiley face on it or something like that. But what it means is it's showcasing to your network. They go, oh my word, Jeff, he went to a LinkedIn session, and then he put at the bottom, check out my LinkedIn account. I've updated all these areas for 2024. And if you were to share the social selling index link, that is going to help your network, and people are going to engage with you on that. So when it comes to the posting of actually putting up something on LinkedIn, one question I always get is, how often should I post? And for me, it's always, I try to engage at least once a week with my audience, but sort of network on here, at least once a week with what is going on in my world. So I'll give you an example on here that we can have a quick look at as to what happened this week. And this is where a really good LinkedIn post can make such a massive difference, but you've got to utilize the platform effectively. Now, the first key thing on here is this line up here, right? This line up here. Now, if we have any marketing people here today, and I'm sure Emma knows the answer to this already, if you've watched any Gary Vee videos or you're into your SEO, it's a case of that is what is known as the hook in marketing. It's the people are going to be scrolling through social media, and they've got to stop on your post, say, hey, James has posted something. He turns up every week. It's usually interesting, and something's happened in his world. So that means that usually my content on here is photos or it's a video, something like that, as to what has been going on. And this is where so you can see some of the impressions as to, it's got 116 likes or on there, and it's got over 3,000 impressions from my network. And this is where you get from LinkedIn and any social media. I find this with Instagram, TikTok that I use as well, is the more you engage with it, the more time you put into it, the more you get out of it. And I always I'll show you this actually, it's an amazing thing, it makes such a difference. I actually do these posts in advance on there. So I'll actually do them sort of on like a Saturday afternoon, something like that. I'll tag in the students, and then this is where, can you see that it depends on the level of detail what you want to go up to, but I'm sure I can hear you saying, oh God, James, that looks like it could have taken a bit of time. Well, in actual fact, that bit on here, the university has made it to the final of the UK Undergraduate University Business Challenge. And this is where you might want to use another one of your free resources. This is literally all I do. So I always think to myself, I would be typing it anyway. So it would be on here. The University of Lincoln Business Challenge team have made it to the final. Cool. That's what I would have posted, obviously capital L. And literally, you can just scroll down here. Lo and behold, copy and paste, literally like that. And it would go into the actual post on there. Oh, we'll come on to that later. It will go into the post on there and copy and paste it in. You can also, I only tried to put in the odd wad emoji. This was a bit of a different one on there. But to be honest with you, we took the students to the business challenge last year. So to save time, I actually copied the same post from last year, and I just saved more time doing that. But what you need to get good at is tagging in your organization, your business on there to their specific LinkedIn page. And can you see on here as to hashtag challenge, hashtag business, hashtag university? This is where recruiters, people all around the world follow these hashtags. So my post will have gone under, if you can see here, 56,000 people follow hashtag university. And lo and behold, my one is at the top on there. So this is where, look, you've even got people that have promoted it. You've got on here, it's so that people who want to look at hashtag university can flick through anything that relates to university, and yours will actually come up on there as well. So that's just showcases to you, completely free. It's just say if you're a florist or if you're a butcher or something like that, it would then showcase it to you. That would be where you would fall under. And I always tag in my students on there, people who have helped us out. Deborah is one of the organisers. And you can also put in one, I always tag myself in at the bottom for people to connect. And also, I also have a plug for my YouTube channel on there. So anyone can click it and it will take them to there. But that's just one example as to a nice little neat photo, but it's the exposure that it can get you. And this is where, sorry, I've got lots to go through and I'm conscious because I just want to cover as much as I can on here. This is where, coming back to your post now, we'll go back onto my account. When you get a few really good ones, like maybe when you qualified as a CIMA qualified accountant, or maybe you've done some actual certificates or something like has really happened that's amazing in your business. Now, sorry, Emma, I'm going to put on the ACCA photo. Sorry, everyone. It's just for show. Don't worry. We can all be friends. It's okay. So all I did on here, same principle. Keep it simple. I put, we made it officially now an ACCA fellow, 5 years qualified, CPD all done. And then it's just me, a photo of me with my 2 certificates on there. As you can see, 9:30 or 9:15 at night when that photo was taken. But these are the stats that people just don't see from behind the scenes. So 35,000 impressions from one photo, nearly 1,000 likes on there. And I wouldn't. I would have maybe had about 5,000 followers, something like that at the time. But still, that's amazing on there. That will be there forever. And this is where you can just actually add those to what is known as your featured page. So even to this day, people who check out my profile go straight to the features. Like when we did a little piece with the BBC, we're going to hopefully go do a few more interviews with them in the future. But again, a small little piece with the BBC, 55,000 on there, just tagging the BBC, and who's the presenter on there. You might recognise them from the East Midlands. But then all of my colleagues on there just seeing it as well. So it's just you might not have these things that have happened, but you will have had things that you could feature. And honestly, it's not rocket science. All we do is click the three dots up at the top there, and then mine's obviously already a feature there. So yours would say add as feature, mine says remove from featured. Obviously, I want to keep it on there. So that again is another area that is going to make a massive difference for you and your business on there. Cool. We're going to have time for a Q&A at the end, but let me take you through just some of the other key aspects that will really help you out on there. And again, feel free to have a gander on my profile. I take no offense of people stalking it through, because, ladies and gentlemen, the best tip I can give you, honestly, this came from, I was at Accountex 3 years ago. If you don't know what Accountex is, it's 2 days of accounting conference, CPD, and then they do a few other webinars. And there was one guy who did a LinkedIn session on there. And I put my hand up and we're chatting away. And I said, what's the one tip that you can give for someone to actually build their LinkedIn account? And he said, James, it's not rocket science. What you need to do is find someone who's better on LinkedIn than you and copy what their profile, what they're doing on there. I went, but surely that defeats the object of like personalize and stuff like that. So, no, but tailor it to you. Don't just copy it word for word, but find someone in your network. So if you're a management accountant, or if you're an FD or anything like that, or maybe there's someone at your organization who's really good at LinkedIn, find someone in your network. Feel free to use mine. I don't mind on there. I just try and make mine as simple and as easy for people to process, like how can they collaborate with me and what do I do? So there's one lady on here. I've met her before. I've done a podcast and two with her. Her name is called Mei Fing on there. And she used to work corporate land, and then basically her story is that she went, corporate land isn't quite for me anymore. And she's now a sort of career/life coach and mentor who helps people around the world change their career roles into something they actually want to do. And if you look at Mei Ping's one on here, notice she's got her featured page, she's got her activity, she posts usually about once a week. We'll come on to these sort of about sections, but notice on here her experience with some of the key areas. Again, lots of photos, nice and easy for you to digest. Education on there, ACCA, and any volunteering that she does, licensing, skills we're coming on to later, and the big one of recommendations at the bottom. For any business owner, anyone who maybe wants to go into maybe a different workplace, anything like that. And the one thing on my sort of goal list you can see on here is she's one of the LinkedIn top voices of 2023 from the articles that she writes. So what that means is, as you can see up at the top, it's not on her profile now because it's 2024. Oh, actually, no, it's still there. It's got that little LinkedIn speech bubble thing on there. So it takes you to all of her little articles. But it's finding someone within your network, maybe you already know them already. It's a case of from there, you will then be able to just follow what they do. Now let's have a look and go through the other details that make a LinkedIn profile for any business owner and professional stand out. And the one on here is the about section. So what the aim of the about section isn't to tell you all about the about section on there. The aim of the about section is to get the person on your profile to click that see more button. Okay, usually they're not going to click it on there, but you want to try and convince them. So I just put on there, hello there, great to see you made it onto my LinkedIn page. Feels like I'm talking to you. Let me tell you more about how how me and you, or how we can collaborate. How about me and tell me more about me. Oh, let me tell you more about me and how we can collaborate. Probably need to reword that. But if you look on here, nice and easy, about me, how can I best help you? Student engagement projects, qualified accountant, do you need help passing your exams? And then how can you contact me? Directly message me on LinkedIn, DM me on Instagram, or you can actually comment on a YouTube video as well. If anyone's on Instagram, you've got your phone on you now, feel free to find me on there. I just post a load of free videos to help you out. Next thing on there, I'm sure you've already got it, but it's just the bog standard sort of experience on there for, as I said, I'm lecturer at university. The one I want to put on here, which is overdue, is I'm going to put on there YouTube, because we hit over 1 million views this year, which was one of my targets. So I'm going to get YouTube updated, but it's just got a few other bits like people get interested in. I always tell them I'm a football referee, and then they go, oh, does that mean I can swear at you? No, you can't. But all my sort of education, so you guys are going to be SEMA qualified or maybe our ICAW, but just like even just there, just putting a little photo of when I qualified, and that there is all from the LinkedIn post that I put online on there from the photo. Again, good job I look exactly the same as I did back then on there. Now, what is underrated on here? 2 key areas that I think you should go away and have a look at from today and assess on your profile. The first one is skills. On here, you just got to keep it simple. First ones you should have on there are just sort of what you're good at. So mine is teamwork. I try and collaborate with as many people as possible, UK, worldwide, university. I do webinars, I do face-to-face classes, public speaking has to be on there. Accounting, probably we should all have it on there. Finance, same again. And then other areas like social media, a bit of research. I've done a few papers recently. And then it gets into the sort of more specific areas like Excel, team leadership on there. But if I was you, and maybe you've not got any so far, just stick to about 5, keep them generic. And the best way for you to actually encourage people to get in touch with you on there is to actually endorse some maybe of your teammate skills or people you work with, people who you've previously done work with as well. So that is an absolute no-brainer. LinkedIn is your 24-hour CV and your 24-hour pitch of you and your business. Makes a massive difference. And the one that makes an even bigger difference is here for the recommendations. So when I spoke to May Ping, I asked her what was one of the main areas of your LinkedIn profile that people continually book you as a mentor, and she said, James, everyone just goes down to the recommendations, and she had about 100 at the time. She's got 250 now, and you can go down and have a look to see what genuine people have written about this person on here. So Lorna, Maria on there, there's another 78. Don't get me wrong, it takes time to get recommendations from people. The best bit of advice I can give you is to get a recommendation of someone. In the book by Stephen Covey, 7 Traits of Highly Effective People, it has to be a win-win transaction. So Maria, Lorna, I've written them references, I've taught them in classes. Maria on there, she wanted to set up her own business. I gave her a bit of advice like company bank account, separating out your personal fund, all those sort of things. And then you just take out the time just to write a nice message to say, oh, please would you write me a reference? I'd really appreciate the time on there. So one of my goals for this year is to get it up to 100 on there. So if you're feeling very kind, feel free to write one after today's webinar. Who knows on there? But those are the real key areas, along with sort of honours and awards, bit of languages on there. But those are the main areas that if I come and look at your LinkedIn account, or if I'm looking to do business with you, maybe to book you for something, skills, recommendations, and I will then also, the other key thing is, look at who follows you and who are the connections. So maybe if you're joining us today and you've only got 100 connections or 400 connections on there, I think you've got to have minimum 500, because then that tells me you're at least actively using the platform on there. And all you need to do is just reach out to people who you've previously worked with, maybe your current colleagues on there, people you meet at networking events, which leads on to another key tip where we're going to use our phones now, ladies and gentlemen, without me putting my code in on there, which wouldn't have been very good. So what I want you to do is just go on to your actual LinkedIn account on your, well, just onto the home screen on there. So Brendan's posted something on mine, so hopefully you can see that. So just onto the home screen, and you can see up at the top, I'll do it on the screen, it's that search bar. So all I want you to do is click on the search bar up at the top. So it's that search bar up there. Now it's not going to come up on your computer because we're using the phone, but when you go to a networking event, it's an absolute nightmare to connect with someone on LinkedIn when they've got a difficult second name, you don't know where they work, all these sort of things. If you can see on that, there's a little square box in the corner up there, a little square box in the top right-hand corner. And if you were to click that, what it brings up from the search box is that QR code on there. This QR code has saved me so much time, so much hassle, so many new contacts, because all it means is someone can just take a photo of your QR code and then it goes directly onto their profile on there. And it just makes your life so much easier. If you go to a face-to-face networking site, I don't know, maybe if you're having dinner with your wife or husband tonight, give it a go. Ask him, darling, can you just scan my QR code on LinkedIn, please, to check it works? Honestly, absolute game changer, and has been a massive difference, especially if you're dealing with busy people who have got massive things going on in their world, and they've only got a minute. I said, cool, scan the QR code, let's keep in touch on there. And I did it to, I don't know if you've seen Dragon's Den, but there's a guy on there called Piers, who was at a conference I was there, and he was getting hassled left, right, and centre. And we were talking about YouTube and stuff like that. I said, oh, can we keep in touch? Would love it. And he said, yeah, James, you're really cool. I thought, well, we didn't say that. And I said, cool, get your phone, scan the QR code. We've kept in touch. And who knows, like, the world's getting smaller and smaller. It's just another sort of thing to help you out. Because one thing from LinkedIn is that I try to do is then get people, and this is where the business side of it will come to help you out, is to then get people to then go on to, say, like my YouTube account on here, where they may go and watch some content, watch some podcasts on there. And it's got sort of my other links on there. So you've got the Instagram, you've got, what else we've got on there? Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn. So again, it's just trying to build the following on different platforms to then get my message out there so that more companies and people want to collaborate with us. So you can see on here, this is just so you can see the figures from behind the scenes, which nobody will show you because the TikTok gurus lie on there. But you can see on here, my account on LinkedIn has reached nearly 100,000 accounts in the last 30 days. And that's from me just trying content. So I'll show you some figures on here. So some on here of like day in the life of a university lecturer where I took my students down to London, 18,000 views. Day in the life of a university lecturer when I was out in Malaysia. The mental one on here was me going to the ACCA office in the Middle East, where I walked to the office, and I just told the story if you want to watch it. I walked to the ACCA office in the Dubai July heat, and it turns out all these accounting professionals have found my video, and it's been seen by over 100,000 people. It's like, this English guy, accountant, he's come over, goes to the ACCA office in the heat and walks there. So again, it's just a showcase to you for your business, the resources, especially leveraging social media. I do free sort of workshops on it to help people out. I run on a zero-based budget on there. But one of the best video ones, I know I can hear you saying the question, James, how do you do videos on there? For your pen and paper and to download it, the free app is called CapCut on there. CapCut on there. Hopefully it might, yeah. Oh no, it's got an advert on it. Well, it is free. But yeah, CapCut on there. Again, completely free to use. it's just a bit of a nightmare because it takes up a lot of memory on your actual phone from all the sort of bits on it there. But that, ladies and gentlemen, with the final thing, okay, this is my real pet hate. I'm going to go to LinkedIn. If anyone knows anyone who works at LinkedIn, I do. I'm trying to go down to the London HQ. One thing that really, really irritates me is they try to plug you to get premium membership on there. I'm sure it's probably on the screen here somewhere. There you go. Try premium for £0. And one of the areas to do that with is because they're trying to restrict the amount of people that can actually utilize some of the resources. So back in the day, I used to literally, I'm going to go onto here, there's a few people added on here. Hello, everyone. So what it means is, can you see on here, like we've got some people who I'm not connected with on here, but I'll click on someone who I do know, so they won't think it's a bit weird that I've viewed their profile on here. So let's go on to Charlotte on here. Now, one of the main things, and this is what I like from, we'll come back onto the gentleman there, is say, for instance, if I was to connect with Charlotte, in the old days, you could have connected on there and wrote a note on there. So you could have wrote a note, but LinkedIn now have done limited to 5 personal invitations remaining per month. So this is where you as a business owner, the people who you connect with, you have to make yourself stand out. So I saved those 5 for like 5 really mega contacts of maybe someone out in the Middle East who wants me to do a webinar for them, or we have the Vice Chancellor of Abu Dhabi University. I sent him a personal one recently, and the reason for that, I'll quickly show you on here, is because he is so busy on there, he'll just never see my one. So what I did was, Gazan on here, he asked me to join his group. I said, thank you, Gazan. It's great to see you're also from Loughborough. Here's my YouTube account. Here's all my stuff. And then lots of other people, and he actually saw it as well. But I only picked those sort of ones on there for people like him who, he's probably got about 20, got 10,000 followers on there. So unlikely that he's going to see mine. But look, no banner, no banner. Gazan, if you were here, you'd know what to do. So, ladies and gentlemen, what is going to help you? I'm going to show you behind the scenes now as to what I actually use. So this is literally when I connect with someone who I just send that connection request to, and don't worry, I probably might send one to a couple of people who have connected here today, but it's just so that you can, like, I always like to collaborate with lots of people, find out where we can add value together. And who knows, like you might want me to do a LinkedIn session for your colleagues or for your Rotary Club, or I do bits on personal branding, anything like that. I have these up here for just a simple copy and paste job. But this one on here is, I would connect with someone on LinkedIn, just literally copy it, pop in their name on there, and you can tailor this for your business, what you run, and say, hey, great to connect, thought I'd share my social media account and see if you'd like to collaborate more closely. I hope you have a super day, and this is the other bit you've got to put at the end. Feel free to drop me a direct message anytime on there. So people have your details, you've engaged with them, you can put in there, you should put in their direct name on there, so it's a personal message. And honestly, your engagement rate is going to go so much higher. As to when I get them on here, I've got 371. I go through and vet absolutely everyone on there. Don't worry, if you've come along today, you're all going to get a yes. Look at this. Spot on, Paul. Lovely stuff. Nick, you're definitely coming on there. Cool stuff. But if we look on here, okay, so I'm just going to scroll you through. Nothing on GDPR. These are all people in the public domain. This one on here, Leo, he's getting a yes. I saw him the other day. Hey, James, I am Leo. Attend your session on LinkedIn through the Student Managed Investment Fund regarding improving LinkedIn. I've taken much of your advice and looking to bring in my social media based online presence, making potential useful connections. Thanks for reading. Look, he knows he was there. I hope you accept. What do you think, ladies and gentlemen? Should we accept him? Oh, go on. There you go. You see, you've made a young man's day. I'll drop him a message later. But that gives you a nice little overview. Bless you. You've all been sat patiently on there, listening me waffle on. So I think it's time to bring in my lovely assistant Emma, who's also got a poll for you as well, just to sort of wrap up before we get on to our Q&A for today. As to, I'll stop sharing my screen because I think that will allow the poll to come on from there. And it's really just about, the poll's open now. Hopefully you've taken away from today some nice bits of feedback on there, things that you could go and put into place. As I said, I work at the university. I do lots on sort of personal branding. I help people with LinkedIn sessions like this. If you ever want any help, or if you think we could work together on anything in the future, or who knows, if you're coming to Accountex and you want to chit chat or anything, just let me know. But I hope you've all enjoyed today as well. So Emma, how are we looking? Is that if everyone's written, oh, good grief, oh, what that was a waste of 2 minutes.
I'll close it, and I'd be very happy to tell you that 100% of the people that answered said yes, they do feel more confident.
Oh, they're too nice. Well, thank you very much, guys, as well on there. That's very sweet of you. But shall we go on to some questions now? Emma, what do you think? What have you been seeing in the background?
Yeah, sure. So we've had a few questions come in, but if you have any questions, we've got 10 minutes. So any questions you post, we'll try and get through as many as possible. So the first one is from Luke, and has just said that he does post content on LinkedIn, but should he be posting them in a regular way? Sounds like he probably isn't at the moment.
Okay, there's a good question on there. So in terms of a regular way, to be honest with you, Luke, I always tend to have a scheduled post that goes out on a Monday morning at about 8:30, because that is when the majority of my and everyone's LinkedIn users log on. It's the new start of the work week, and they're more likely to engage on there. So one of my targets every week is to post 1 time a week, and you don't have to do it at the exact same time. I target when most people are on there for it, and then that's in terms of quantity and timeliness of it. But then the second thing is, Luke, is what are you posting? Are you adding value to your actual connections? Are you providing something useful, like that social index we went through today? Or are you actually saying, this is how I'm improving as a professional, or this is what my business is actually doing? So say, for example, like you've been to an event this evening, pop a screenshot on there and put it online. Say, like, I'm improving my network on there. If you go to a networking event face to face, just take a photo at the back, do it on there. There are some people on LinkedIn that mix it up for social media with, like, Instagram is for pictures and your social sort of things. LinkedIn is professional. And I've got a few connections who I've worked with in the past on there, and they just post photos of stuff that doesn't really relate to, it doesn't have a positive spin on it. It could be relating to their improving their mental health, or maybe they've done something for a charity or something like that. But they just post things about just stuff that just doesn't add any value on there. So my thing, Luke, coming back to it is, does what you are posting add value to your network or yourself? That is the key question to ask yourself in there. Hope that helps, Em.
No, brilliant, thank you. In a similar vein, we've had a similar question, which is around what type of content would you recommend they post in terms of adding a picture, adding a video? Is there one better than the other?
So again, if it ain't broke, you don't fix it on there. For me, people prefer photos because it's a bit more interactive on there. You're getting to see the actual person, what they're actually doing. But then, if you're a sort of Diary of a CEO fan, Stephen Bartlett on there, don't worry, I'm not going to promote Huel to you or anything like that. But if you go onto his LinkedIn profile, some of his are just literally words. But notice how he lays the words out is the key thing, and he tells a story, because you've got to get people to the end of your post and to get them to comment. But coming back to what we touched on at the start of the webinar, just posting puts you in the 1% that post on LinkedIn. And everything from, like, going to a webinar, or maybe you've done a course or anything like that that relates to adding value to your network, the better on there, I would say, for it. Just obviously, like I said, the caveat to that is just make sure it's actually relevant as well. So just so that my rule of thumb, this will help you out because it saved me numerous times, is the best bit of advice I ever got about social media, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube is, what if that video, what if that photo, what if those words ended up on the front of the Daily Mail in the news tomorrow? Would you be embarrassed? Would that be career ending? What would your mum say on there? With Mother's Day coming up this weekend, it's on my mind. You see, I've sent my card today. That's fine. It's a case of, that is the best advice I can give you on there, because if it doesn't fit that litmus test for it, and you say no, 100% do not post what you're thinking about posting on there. Oh, that's okay, Emma.
Yeah, brilliant, thank you. Again, all about posting at the minute. Paul has asked, in terms of content, do you find that posts about you as a person or other kind of inspirational posts are more effective than posting low-level details about your business?
That's a really good question. I tend to go for a mix, but I'm more weighted on me as a person, because, as you know, people buy from people. They go, we want James there for that half an hour session at the AAT or the SEMA or whatever it may be, because one, this happened to me actually at a conference where I did a favor for someone to just do a talk on AI, last minute sort of thing, and I asked him, like, why did you ring me for it? And bless him, he was really honest and said, James, the reason why I rang you was, one, I know you because you post regularly. I know what's going on in your life. Two, I can trust you on it. You're not going to let me down on there. I know you've always been attending other conferences. You say it how it is. And thirdly is quality on there, that I know that when I put you up there and you're representing me and our organization and our professional body, you're going to do a really good job, and you're going to provide as much value as possible to the audience on there. And also you're going to engage afterwards. You're going to post on LinkedIn, you're going to network people, you're going to offer advice, and I know you're not going to be an idiot. You know, you're not going to let me down on it. So little things coming back to you, Paul, on there is absolutely 100% showcase you and your business. Lessons learned are another one. I was speaking to a business owner, kid you not, Paul, this morning. Bless her. She unfortunately got scammed and defrauded a significant amount of money. And I said, well, do you ever talk about it in your journey as a business, that literally you've come back from the depths of you nearly losing your house, and now you're back on your feet and you're doing collaborations not just in the UK but around Europe? And she went, no, not really. I'm a bit sort of like, shall we do it? Shall we not? Do it, honestly. From the amount of heartache that you've been through and the person it's made you, people will engage with that story, and they will go, oh my word, look where she's come from now. She's not going to let me down because she knows what it's like. So yeah, it's a bit of both, Paul. Test the water. It's like throwing mud at a wall on there. I always think, let's throw some mud at a wall. Let's see what sticks. If it works, keep it. If it doesn't, scrap it. Lots of advice there, Emma. Hopefully some of it helps.
No, Paul's just messaging to say thanks as well. And then we've got one last question that's coming from Luke, around when you're looking at the profile on LinkedIn. It says, do the names that pop up at the top of your profile mean that they have visited your profile?
So the names up at the top on there. So we're talking about on the right hand side, I think, on there, where it's those are the people that have also people who are viewed in my sort of network. So LinkedIn, through AI and through the algorithm, picks up that I'm a lecturer at the University of Lincoln, and then it knows the keywords of like accounting, finance, that kind of thing. So it's a case of people who are on or in my department, it will pick up on there as to, oh, okay, they're in the same sort of sphere and area, because I'm more likely to actually connect with them because I know them on there. It's again, what you should do, and it's a bit scary, but it's up to you, is pick a few people online as to where do you want your business to go into the future? Or where do you want to develop as a person? Maybe you want to write a book, maybe you want to take your business to 6 figures, maybe you want to become a speaker on a stage and do a conference, maybe you want to do some international work. Find someone on LinkedIn who is doing what you want to do and drop them a direct message, a personalized invite like we talked about, and see if they respond, because that is you utilizing LinkedIn to its absolute maximum and going from there. I remember dropping a guy called Matt and a message on LinkedIn. This is during COVID. Nice lad up in Scotland, had just written his book on supply chain management, it was, but his niche was supply chain management, and he'd just written his book and it was on Amazon. And I wanted to ask him about niching down like my contents on accounting, ACCA, but I hadn't really started. And one of the best bits of advice he gave me, he says, if you want to do it, you've got to get people to know you for doing those things. So yours has to be ACCA accounting, and then that has morphed into like LinkedIn workshops like today and developing a personal brand on there. So yeah, it's a case of put yourself out there. Literally, what have you got to lose? Like literally, what have you got to lose? It's a case of, at the end of the day, in fact, one of the guys who I messaged online is, there's a guy on YouTube. I absolutely love him. All he has is his YouTube channel is him flying 5-star around the world. And he was a corporate accountant, just like lots of people here today. And his career changed, and then he started posting little videos on there. And then now he's like getting sponsored by Virgin and stuff like that. He's called Matt's Journey on there, or Matt's World, I think it is now. And he's just a qualified accountant that's just learned some new skills. And he's someone that I've reached out to, like, come on, Matt, do you want to be my mate? Come on, let's do it. Let's do a collaboration and go sit on a plane or something. So you just never know what's around the corner on there. And who knows, like you're only one connection away or one person away from, who knows, like your whole life changing and it taking a complete turn. So go for it, connect with someone, send them a message, and then come back in 6 months and a year's time and thank me, where you go, you know what, James, from sending that one message, I now work in London. My business has now done this. I'm a better person because of it, all these sort of things. So give it a whirl. What have you got to lose? And if it goes wrong, don't worry about it. The world's not going to fall down on us.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, James. I think that probably ties us up very neatly for this webinar. So just to remind everybody, if you want to watch this again, you'll get a copy of the recording in the next couple of hours' time. And we'll also pop it onto our webinar channel as well, so that you can share the link if you think somebody else would also benefit from this webinar. But that just leaves me to say a massive thank you to James for giving up his evening and speaking to us, and thank you all for joining us as well. It's been great.
Emma, I get to hang out with you. What's wrong with that?
Brilliant. Thank you so much, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Lovely. Thank you, everyone. See you soon.